Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44. You can also catch me on my Facebook page, True Divine, and The True Divine on both Instagram and Twitter. I'm putting out as much free content as I can via tarot. I work with energy. I work with tarot. I bring the two together and bring them to you as a narrative for your day to help you get through your day, to help you navigate through the day and the energies that you might feel within or that you might encounter. I feel it now more than ever as something that I'm glad I'm doing. It's something I can give back to the collective, because right now there's lots of energy and we're in such an intense time, right? From planetary alignments to what has been reflected on the ground in the collective and then even in our individual lives. um, so much taking place, so much bombarding us, being so much being given to heal, so many opportunities being given to heal. Now often they can feel to a lot of people like punishments, and it's misunderstood, I think, a lot of the times, the opportunities that we get to heal from something, in that though they might feel like punishments, um, how else are we going to listen sometimes to the things that we need to heal or do the inner work on if we're being quite stubborn and having our heads in the sand regarding that very thing, whatever it might be for you in your life. It often is the case right now that we're so distracted, deliberately so, by so many other things that we've taught ourselves to be distracted from those things that would be screaming out from within us if we stopped for a minute to listen. And therefore, we do attract in our own karma, and sometimes the lessons can be extremely harsh. But when listened to, when transmuted, when worked through, with various help like these videos, they can be the greatest blessing of all and be part of the greatest growth that you've ever had. And right now, the opportunities are high. The stakes are high for true healing, true inner strength, true inner work to be done on a massive, massive scale. And so I bring you these translations, these energy stroke tarot readings to help you gain clarity and purpose. 1 second. As to what might you be being asked to do within, um, and work from, um, to help heal, to help go forward, to help grow. So those were two flyers. I'm going to take them, um, because they seem very pertinent. I love tarot. It's always so accurate. So, this is a reading for the 5th of July 2020. I hope all of my American brothers and sisters had a fantastic 4th of July and didn't spend too much time out in the moon, and didn't didn't get affected too much by the 4th of July's moon. It's another story. So, the first card for the 5th of July 2020 is the lovely Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords, the divine feminine, who can seem sometimes a little bit cold, a little bit offhanded, a little bit step back, because the Queen of Swords is of intellect. She's watchful, she's thinking, she's got that dexterous mind, even more than the Page of Swords or the Princess of Swords, depending what deck you're using. There's that dexterity of mind, but there's that wisdom with it. That wisdom has usually come for the Queen of Swords through pretty harsh lessons, pretty deep and painful lessons. And so she sees the depths of society, as in she sees the lowest vibrations in society and within people, and she sees the highest vibrations. And she's gotten to a point really where she can't be messing around too much, especially on this day, at this time, and at this climate that we find ourselves as a collective, to mess about with people who haven't done the inner work, or who aren't willing to do the inner work. Because she might have some harsh words to share. Like any good mother, She doesn't really care how you feel about it when you know she knows you need to hear something, when you need to hear some wisdom. Again, she won't waste her time right now on this reading on this day. You might find that you know, if you're going to be whether you are embodying the energy of the Queen of Swords, or whether you are encountering the energy of the Queen of Swords, who is wanting to enlighten you, and there's no sort of rainbows and unicorns about it today. It's harsh truths. It's things that people have tried to distract themselves from, or allowed themselves to be distracted from, i.e. Hollywood, for instance. If you're still in denial about what that industry is all about, then there's some shocking news that's coming out on a daily basis, and in particular today, regarding that and its people within it, regarding all aspects of so many things that people once said. Um, it brings enlightenment, first and foremost. I've got to say this, it was clarified by the beautiful and benevolent sun, but it's taken action. There's action happening now. And for a lot of the community that has been in the energy of the very independent, very lone wolf Queen of Swords, knowing truths, looking at truths, not messing about, doing the research, um, then, if it's not exciting days, because it's never the truths that you wanted to know in the first place right now, but also at the same time, it is more a relief that is this, but at the same time, because the people who've been the truth warriors for a long time have gotten used to this darker side, those that the powers that be. um, there's been many opportunities, many brave souls who have tried to enlighten, who have tried to lift the consciousness and extract these parasites from their seats of power and control. It's still a bit of will it happen? Won't it happen? Are they telling the truth? Are they not telling the truth? Will somebody disappear? Will somebody, accidentally trip over and drown in a mop bucket that is left in some random corridor of a prison that they should really not have been free to walk down in the first place? Will it be some kind of extra special big extravaganza story like that? So there's bated breath with this Queen of Swords energy right now. But the enlightenment is still there. Those Queen of Swords energies are speaking their truths, no matter how harsh they are. Because, as I say, they only really have time now to mess about with people who have eyes to see and ears to hear, and some fortitude to go and do the research themselves, and have an open mind about that research, to be open to being enlightened. And so it's a day of, if you are embodying the Queen of Swords, to know the time. And the time is not, it's not the time to not be bold. It's not the time to worry about how your words of wisdom might make others feel. It's not the time to worry about emotions and triggers and anything like that. It's just not the time. But as well, it's not the time for you to exhaust yourself, um, trying to convince those. There's a level of wisdom with this Queen of Swords energy today that knows who is ready to listen and who just isn't. And the enlightenment is there to be able to see that also. The second card being the Fool card. So from these truths, there's new things being written. From these truths, and and these truths might come in your individual life. In fact, they will come in your individual life, even if those truths are from yourself, from your inner self, from your higher self, from your true self, however that aligns with you. It might be that, you know, you give yourself a little bit, have a little bit of an enlightenment regarding ego that's maybe sneaking around somewhere in the depths there, or some enlightenment about maybe how you've been neglecting self. um, for a lot of people, yes, neglecting self, that you've been on this mission to do something that you do for the collective or for others, and there's been a neglect for self. And it's been a thankless task in a lot of ways for those who I'm speaking to, who this resonates with. And so there is time as well to have that enlightenment about self, and knowing that this queen knows how to self preserve, in that she is the, sometimes I picture her as a quite a young queen, and then other times I picture her as an old grandma, and old grandma's home. Old grandma is taking no prisoners. She's not messing around with any kind of um, tittle tattle right now. Grandma's laying down the rules and saying, "You've forgotten. You've forgotten. Divine feminine, you've forgotten what the role here was." Bringing into people's consciousness again of, this is my role now. I can say what I like. I'm an old biddy. I don't really care anymore. You know, that it's that kind of energy. So there's this Fool card of a new pattern, a new beginning, um, new activations in your area. And this granny, this granny that I'm seeing, is very much like my granny was, in that you see some, you go from the Hollywood stars who take things that is created from harm of innocent children. You see that, and they are so desperate to stay young because their creativity is directed, it's scripted, their life force is stifled. And so they seem like the creative people in the collective, but actually they are the most scripted, most controlled, most robotic people. And there's this huge pressure of looking beautiful, staying young. Now, this granny energy that I'm feeling, like this grandma's home energy, um, I'm picturing of my grandma, and she had glass blue eyes and a face, the female face of the depiction of Santa Claus, in that she had a smile that would melt you. She had eyes that could pierce through you. And she just had an energy about her that even when her body got older, she still looked super attractive. She still looked super beautiful. She still looked really warm and cozy and childlike. She hadn't forgotten how to be a child. She hadn't forgotten how to pretend. She hadn't forgotten how to um, want and hope for more. She'd kept that inner life force right up until the end, right up until the passing over. And so it's to speak of that there's a new, to try and get back, no matter what age you are physically, to remember that childlike nature within this Fool card, to go forward in your life like a child would. And if a child gets bored and it stops learning and stops being able to explore a certain toy, they move on. They move on to the next. They flow, and if they don't find a toy that takes their fancy, they make one up in their mind, and play with it and go with it, and they're not afraid of who's watching, and they just go for it. And so whatever age you are, it's finding that, whether you're a granny or whether you're a child, a young person, if you're watching this, um, to find that inner child and light it up, because that is what has been stifled the most for a long, long time. There's been this pressure to grow up, to be an adult, to tick all of these ticky boxes, the little boxes on the hillside made of ticky tacky. They're all the colors are the same. Um, to find that inner explorer within you, and to realize how stifled you've been. And by these truths, however harsh you might find them to be from the energy of the granny, um, to take them on board like a child would. And there might be that initial disappointment, but then actually the child would think about it and think, yeah, that stifled me, and it was an illusion. I don't have to keep playing with the same toys. I don't have to keep exploring the same reality. I can move and I can put into my reality the very things that light me up, the very things that lit me up when I was a child, and I didn't get done because I was too busy doing those damn ticky boxes to attain this and attain that, and go to this school, go to that school, get married, do this, stay married, do that, do a job. It's find that inner child, that inner explorer. With this, it's clarified by the Ace of Cups. Now, the Ace of Cups speaking of a new emotional beginning, a new adventure. So these two cards together, it's powerful. The zero and then the ace, the one, bringing it, coming on the journey, building up momentum. And this is the gift that we have from our creative source, from our creator, from our divine feminine energy, the mother, in that this is a gift from the heavens, a hand from the heavens to say, do you not realize, child, the very reality that you're living in is projected from you. The very reality that you're living in is projected from you and all of your brothers and sisters. It's the collective reality. And so it's very difficult sometimes to lift ourselves out of that and have those truth words thrown at us and realize that we've stayed on a path for too long that doesn't fill us up. And I'm not saying you have to throw away your whole reality, but find out where you're lacking. Give yourself these truths, or have someone else give them to you. Take them graciously and find out where your reality is lacking, where your emotional being is not being met. And go for it, follow it, and realize that what I find very frightening is that if we don't consciously keep a check on ourselves, if we don't consciously feed into the collective our path, our emotional drive, what really drives us, what honestly is us and part of our true self, then what I find very worrying is that then we're projecting this reality from a subconscious space. And the powers that be, that are so cruel in so many ways, and I don't mean all of them, I mean a very select few at the top. I don't even mean the puppets that we see. But if they are experts at alchemy, they're experts at magic, of hooking our subconscious. So if we are just going along and just doing the ticky boxes that they've set out for us, then we can only be projecting a reality of control, of stifling, but most importantly, of child cruelty. So to go forward and not be afraid to take the heat from a lot of the collective that look at you and maybe have known you all your life and say, what are you doing? Why are you painting yourself under the moon? Do you really have to dance around the fire in front of the neighbors? You're going to get that. But to be brave like the child and say, yeah, I am. Cool. I am. Yeah. Do you want to join? No? Okay. carry on painting, carry on dancing. It's to be brave enough to do that. And then we start to see how the collective, the projection of each individual into the collective builds up the reality that we live in, the picture that we're seeing. And it might seem like the most menial thing that if you, say, have yearned after being able to dance around fires, naked if you want to, or if you've yearned how to, I don't know, start hill rolling, rolling down a hill on the side like a child. What if you've yearned to do that, but if you've been so restricted to this role that you found yourself in, this label that you found yourself under, then sometimes it seems really menial, these things that I might be saying to you to do. But the glee, the bliss, that kind of thing that you've been yearning to do, that the impact that has in the collective, that all builds up. And it's a little bit like litter picking. And I know I'm bringing a lot of Jenny type analogies into this reading, and I'm sorry, not sorry. But I think it's a little bit like litter picking, in that you might walk past a piece of litter because you've got your hands full, maybe, or the kids are around you, or you're walking the dog, or you're dressed nicely and you're going out for a meal and you're like, I really should pick that up. It's okay, it's just one piece. If there's so many people doing that, then we find our seas being suffocated by plastic. But if everybody that saw a little bit of litter and thought, let's pick it up, and put it in the bin so that it can be condensed, or maybe is reused, then you see how that would build up momentum, and we wouldn't find our oceans covered in plastic. We wouldn't be ingesting plastic. So it's that individualism that you're finding in yourself, some way, somehow, that has this huge impact into the collective, a much bigger impact than joining the in crowd for the day or in crowd for the week and going on a certain, I don't know, protest, riot, whatever it is. This is much more impactful, and it's what's called for right now. So the third card is another major arcana, and it is the beautiful Temperance card. This speaks of alchemy, the ultimate alchemist, in that, the negative things, just like we're going back to the first part of the reading, old Granny here with her words of wisdom. And so the first part of the reading, going back to that, in that, it might feel like Granny's words are a bit like, ouch, Granny, or a bit negative, that it might be that, I don't know, you see an old biddy in the store, and she checks you for being so rude, for going in front of her when she just has 3 things in a basket and you have a trolley full. Analogy again. And you might be a bit like, oof, ouch. She might call you ignorant or something like that. And instead of throwing something back at her, which nobody should ever do to a granny, you would use this alchemy card, the energy of this alchemy card, to the temperance card, to temper that, to take it on board. Did my action reflect my heart there? Is my heart like rude to grannies? No. But am I in a hurry too much? Do I get too obsessed with this to-do list each day, that I get in such a hurry that I actually act out in a way that doesn't reflect my heart? So you cross that energy over the heart, and you mix those 2 streams. It's the water into wine card. And so at that point, it gives you that opportunity to take on these maybe negative, for want of a better word, words, and find within yourself how you can go forward and use that in a way that is good for you. It also speaks of using the negative energies around you to be forced into a place of balance. Because right now, if you look at on the collective stage, these truths that are coming out, these dark truths, heartbreaking truths that are coming out, it would be very easy to just take those on board and get burnt out by them. But let it drive you, let you use your alchemy to drive you to say, okay, I need to get in that childlike space before I burst. I need to get in that childlike space with that new start of something before I just fractalize everywhere. I need to do that, and I need to do that now. um it might be that you're finding, especially if you are a truth teller, if you are an enlightened soul with this sun card, that you find yourself really attracting today a lot of attention with the Seven of Wands. Now, this is a Sagittarius major arcana. This is Wands, again, fire. And so finding yourself a little bit under fire for the things that you are saying or doing, even to the point of people finding, like I mentioned before, what you doing rolling down a hill? Do you really have to dance around that fire? That negative attention that you might be finding today. Even that, you can take that on board and allow it to use your alchemy to push you into that positive place, that positive state of mind, that childlike state of mind, to say, okay, I'm not going to get anywhere with you guys, but thank you. Even that negative energy is channeling me into the place that I'm being asked to be in right now, and finding my individualism, finding my inner light again, finding my inner glow, my inner youthfulness. On the bottom of the deck, it's got the home card, the Four of Wands, bringing it back to home. And wherever that, I hope you all got the memo, to make sure that you are in a home that was supportive to you, that resonated with you, or that you were around people that resonated with you and were supportive to you. Because with that, it's bringing it all back into the nucleus, into the home. And ultimately, by doing that in a happy state, in a childlike state, you can feed that into your family, feed that into your collective. Home is a happy place right now. Right now, the collective stage is a bit like, a bit muggy and a bit dark. Not a bit dark, very dark. But in the home, find and channel that energy through your home too. Also, be protecting your home with whatever resonates with you. Sage, um, whatever else, incenses, whatever other herbs work for you, to lift up your home, to protect your home, and have ceremony about it. Have fun with it. Me and the kids waft the smoke everywhere. William gets a bit sick of the smell of sage, but he loves the smell of lavender, so I know that uplifts him. And so do whatever you can to bring light into your home, lightheartedness, and just light, i.e., keeping the vibration high. There's no need for you to be mugged down outside in the collective stage, and in your home too. Your home should be sacred right now and your safe place. Six of Cups on the bottom of the other deck, and this speaks to me greatly about looking back to your childhood, maybe hearing Granny's words as I read this message. Actually, a lovely guy left a comment yesterday. You know who you are, Trig, and you mentioned your granny Olive, and actually it's so funny that you say that, because I've been hearing my great granny a lot today, and seeing my granny's face a lot today and yesterday. And it is like, divine feminine's home. Granny's coming home. Truths need to be, it's like the my granny used to sweep with the brush. She would sweep the same place so many times, but she sweep and sweep and sweep. And so it's like, she needs to clean house. It's clean house time. You've left me out of the collective consciousness for too long. It's clean house time. Morals and ethics need to come back, but we can't get all of these morals and ethics the way they should be, in the state that they should be, until we have a clean space to bring them into. And so right now we're going through the dumpster dump of that. But it is important that we do our role and stop dropping damn litter by getting so stuck in this sludge of depravity and abuse. But at the same time being aware and not letting them get away with anything, but bringing it home for now. That's another day, being aware. So much love. I hope that helps. I hope that brings some kind of clarification as to how you should navigate your day to day. If it resonated with you, please leave a comment. I love the comments more than anything. If you've got Instagram or Twitter, would you please go and follow me, because still, for the life of me, you can't figure out really what they're about or how they work. But I know I've got to be putting things up there because a lot of people use it. But it really is a bit pitiful right now. So much love, stay balanced and stay whole. I love you all. Mwah.